Well, Jay, what's going on? It's been
doing?
such a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's really good to see you. Firstly, I want you to just talk to me about teenage years, school, what you got up to, what sort of person you was. Yeah.
Yeah, teenage years for me, they were normal. You know, I was lucky. I had a good upbringing with my mum and dad. You know, I was all right at school. It was all right. It is what it is. But you know, got that little bit older, around 14 years old. Got into like the in crowd, so to speak, in school. Then going out getting pissed on a Friday and stuff like that. So yeah, it was all right. Like because like my upbringing was great. I used to do what I do and then go home and everything was sweet. You know, it was never really a burden, the upbringing, in my teenage years. But yeah, it progressed the further and further along it was, sort of like the little bit older I got, started going clubbing, started going into pubs, thinking that everything was fucking amazing, but it weren't always the case. What I thought was good, looking back at it now, probably weren't the best paths that I was going down, getting drunk and fucking not going home. And
Do you think that was because you were so bloody tall and you looked much older? When you was kids?
I was always the one that used to go off licenses. We're going to pubs. I'd get served and stuff like that. So yeah, that was sort of like my role from the
because
group.
I remember, like, as a kid, because I think you're like 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
I think when I was about 12, 13, I would never thought you was a crim.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always thought you was older, and I understand, like, that's why you mostly had easier opportunities to start clubbing earlier.
Yeah.
Whereas I was on the street being a toe rag.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because I would never, like, even when I was 14, I looked 10.
Yeah, 14 years old. Like, I was going into pubs and.
Because I think you must have had a beard even then. Didn't
No,
you?
I didn't start shaving properly till I was over 21. I'd
you
shave
like
once
me
here
then?
and there, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
but when I got about 21, then I started shaving properly. But it was all right because back then it's like the people in the pubs, they didn't really give a shit. You know what I mean? Like my pals are going through one door, wouldn't be with me. I'd be at another door. I'd go to the bar, get all the drinks, and then take them over to the tables.
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. So, would you say from them opportunities, obviously going to the pubs, clubs, what come with that?
Yeah, I think being at a younger age, going into boozers and especially clubbing is where that might have been like a footstep in the wrong direction. Like, I went to college, and from college after school, like, every lunchtime we was in a pub, like the Walnut Tree, it was just down the road from North West Kent College, was always in there. But then I think it was from that point onwards that going out and getting pissed and having a laugh was all right. But it sort of like took my mind away from the direction I wanted to be heading in at that age, Like, everything was like, I wanted to set up a business and I wanted to do this and wanted to do that, but then ended up going out and getting pissed and acting a dickhead ended up being the way forward. So
so talk to me your introductory to drugs.
Yeah, I must have been what, 15 years old, and it was in Zen's in Dartford.
The spot,
yeah, where
big up Zen's, big up Zen's.
And then it was a case of one of my pals, like, he was passing out packets to people, and I didn't know what it was. Like, fucking, my family were completely against drugs, especially my dad.
How old would you say you was at this time?
I was about 15 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Possibly 16.
So
but
you're 15, 16.
Yeah.
In Zen's, which is mostly at 18, 21.
Yeah.
To get in. And obviously you're around.
Yeah. And I used to knock about with older people, because obviously, being a bit bigger, I used to knock about with the older people. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then obviously went over to my pal, got chatting to him, and I was like, oh, what's that? And he went, speed. And he went, what, you What, do you want some? And I went, yeah, all right, yeah, I'll try it. And then that was that. Like fucking every night I went out with them when we was clubbing. I'd get a gram of speed and fucking regretting it 2 days later because I couldn't fucking sleep properly and couldn't eat and shit like that. And then from that point on, it was sort of like that. From that, it went from speed to then about a year later, my mate introduced me to pills.
Okay,
so then I was going Amadeus as well. So yeah,
that's smart, man.
So getting on, so fucking used to take the pills on the bus before we used to go through the doors.
You'd be rushing at your nut.
Yeah, out my nut. But so, like I had once, like I double dropped at the top of the bus. Thought I'd be all right by the time I got in. By the time I got to the top deck of the bus, to the bottom of the stairs, I came up on both and I couldn't even walk. Like I was all over the place, and it that was it for me really for a long time. Like it was just pills, and I used to smoke a bit of weed once every now and again. But it wasn't even weed then; it was solids. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. So you're talking maybe like 99, that sort of era.
Yeah.
2000.
Yeah, exactly. Around the millennium time, like.
So so I get that. Obviously, being around older men. So talk to me. So that was the introduction. So you started learning about speed, pills, what leading on to cocaine and stuff like that. So talk to me how you started your career of being a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah. The worst part about that is obviously when my mum and dad were both alive. Obviously, drugs, like I said, was a no-go thing. It was a definite don't get involved and stuff like that. So what I did is that I kept away from it, and I just used to do my bit here and there. But then when my dad passed away, that's when I started sniffing, and then I was selling it then, but at a low level. Like it weren't nothing major. Like I'd go to a pub, or like I was working on a building site. That's where I got the idea. Like everyone was talking about sniffing packets, and I thought, well, if they're all sniffing it, then obviously I'm gonna fucking sell it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And
was it a good idea?
At the time, it was. Yeah, it was a good idea. Like obviously, I was selling about 3 ounces a week and over the weekend. So like, I was doubling my money. I think I was paying about $7.50 an ounce or something back then. But then obviously I was getting 1,500 quid back, maybe more, depending on how much I was cutting it and stuff like that. But then obviously that then progressed from there. I then obviously changed crowds, like, didn't work that job anymore, like was still associating with my mates from Dartford, and then got introduced to another pal of mine, and that's when that really progressed, because around that sort of time my mum had just passed away, and that knocked me sideways, badly, and I was bad on the packets myself, like that was my coping mechanism.
It's the way a lot of us deal with death.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a easier thing to fall to and carry on doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it is.
I totally understand.
Yeah, so it's an easy way out, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, keeps your mind away from everything. It just keeps you numb. But then I came off of it. Like, I stopped taking coke. I weren't drinking. I was training in the gym all the time. And then my pal introduced me to someone, and it was just, to start off with, I was just looking after units for this person, and that was paying money. And then obviously his worker decided that he wanted to quit and wanted to do something else, and then I took over from that. And then I was earning like £800 a week or £1,000 a week with doing like roofing at the time, and then I jumped to doing that, and I was earning £5,000 a week. Yes. And it was from that point on when everything just, that's when my criminal life sort of like became key. Yes. Then, because I thought, why am I getting up at 5 a.m, knocking my nuts out every day for someone else, and he's paying me like fucking a mingy percentage or whatever it is he's earning, when I was going out at 10 a.m, and I was, don't get me wrong, I was finishing at like 2 a.m, but like I'd be at home and do it, but earning £5,000 a week.
And you're working for yourself. So I just want to butt in quickly.
Yeah.
Like, what people don't realise is, like, it's common sense. If you're really honest with yourself, why would you wanna, like, this isn't my ethos now, but I'm just trying to explain to the viewers that, especially when you're a young man, like, going to work and knocking your ass out to earn 600 quid a week, and then you can go and work for yourself, do a ticket line or sell weed or whatever, and you do feel secure. You feel like you're a business owner.
Yeah.
You're going out there getting your clients, you're creating relationships with clients. Like, I remember having cats when me and Ross Camila used to sell crack on our peds. Some of our crackheads were one of the like, so happy to see them, just to see a little story. And you are working for yourself. You're an entrepreneur. You are a business owner. You're a leader in your own sense. And when you look at young men, it's common sense. Why would I wanna work on a building site with health and safety, pay tax, get on the train to London, all that to get 600 quid when I could mostly earn that in a day by doing 20 shots?
Yeah, exactly.
So I just really, because you hit on a good note there, that for drug dealers, the sense of
it's empowerment,
self-respect, and I am this man, and I've got these clients, and I earn money for my kids. Because it is a wrong thing to do in our society, but why do most drug dealers sell drugs? To make money, to buy houses and feed their children. So it ain't like, I just want to get that a point across. I know in our society we don't like to think of drug dealers as good people, but I just wanted to bring that up.
It's not the fact that they're bad people. You know, they're out earning a living. Whether you're out selling cars or whether you're out selling packets, you're still it's the same thing. You got to have a good customer line. You got to have good advertising.
And that's what I would always say to anyone who's selling drugs right now. You can use them tools to set up your own business, just like my friend here is, and I do myself. Right, my next question is, I want you to quickly tell me about the first time you was arrested and how it felt.
The very, very first time ever.
It don't have to be like selling drugs. It might be just beating someone up or something.
The very, very first time I got arrested is absolutely ridiculous, really. But it's things you do. I must have been about 14 years old. We used to go around to my pal's house up near the Brent in Dartford. And he went, there's a car that's been dumped over in the dentist. You know, where's it called? Not Priory Road. Forgotten what it's called, but there's a doctor's there. And there was a dump car in the car park.
On the right.
That's it,
cut through up to, by Hesketh Park.
That's it, yeah. And fucking, he went, there's a car over there, and he went, I'll need some parts off of it just to fucking do on my motor. He went out and he gave us like some fucking screwdrivers and shit like that. He went, go over and get these bits for us. We were like, yeah, all right. And this car had no wheels, like, 2 of the doors had been taken off, fucking had no wind mirrors, nothing. And we was nicking the fucking steering wheel and shit like that. And lo and behold, fucking boom, a fucking estate car come flying in. We're inside the car, so I couldn't go nowhere. And that was it. He was like, they were like, get out the fucking car, They grabbed my mate, got out, and my mate, obviously, like you said, I was a lot bigger than everyone else. So they grabbed hold of my mate, they thrown him on the bonnet of the car, and he went, you get out. And when I got out and stood up, I was taller than the policeman, and he just went, can you turn round and put your hands on the roof of the car? Yeah, exactly. But obviously, and after that, like when my mum and dad like came to pick me up, Copper went to my dad, do you want to talk to him alone in a room? My dad went, if you put me in a room with him now, I'm coming out on my own. And I'm looking at custody sergeant going, no, don't put me in there with him. You know what I mean?
I love that.
That was the very, very first time I ever got nicked. And looking back at it, and it's a joke. You know what I mean? But you did stupid shit when you was kids. You know what I mean?
Well, I always say, like, because I'm on neurodiversity, life is boring unless you make it. And I always say I was drawn to crime because it was adventurous. Do you know what I mean? I love doing something silly and running off and laughing with your pals,
we used
talking
to do
about it, and like, so I totally understand that. So my next question, I want you to talk about the first time going to prison.
Yeah, right.
What sort of prison? How old was you? What was the crime? Talk about if you had a trial, and then just talk a little bit about the first week.
Yeah. The first time I went to jail, I was in my 30s, and that's when I got nicked for drugs. So obviously, I was more in the criminal world then than what I was at any age. You know what I mean?
How old was you?
30 something, 32 maybe. So, and you know, it getting nicked, it was a shock. But you know, when they pulled us over, dragged us out the car, I had a man bag on me with 3/4 of a key of coke in it because I was going to drop it off to someone.
To a customer.
And like fucking, in a sense, I was sort of like bit happy that we'd been pinched because my life was on a downward spiral. I was in a bad
like
place.
A relief. Sometimes it's a relief.
Yeah, like bad things had happened. I was bad on the gear. Like I was, you know, I was an arsehole then. You know what I mean? And going to jail, it's sort of like I remember getting nicked. Went to the courts. You know, obviously fucking didn't say nothing, and then got remanded straight to fucking Elmley.
Oh.
Yeah, fucking million miles away from everything.
I hate it.
Fucking, and it was like, we got there, like obviously when we got reminded, we got there, and because the initial charge that we all got pulled in on was import and export of Class A drugs, it was like a £63 million fucking thing. So obviously my arsehole was making buttons because I thought, oh, that's it. Like I'm coming out of here when I'm 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they ended up dropping the charges of the conspiracy to me and my mate, who were caught in the same car, and charged us separately for possession with intent. But the long and short of it is it came. The reason they did that is because then it put more of a dairy on the main people that they were trying to arrest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then
it's how they manipulate the system.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't really matter what's what or who's who. Like it's whoever they say is whoever.
At the end of the day, it's meant to be just about justice.
Yeah.
Not about characters. Or personnel. It's meant about we've done a crime, so we should get found guilty or punished in that justice bracket.
Yeah.
But as you know and I know, the way the court systems, I just want to bring this up for instance. Say for instance, I first get nicked for attempted murder. Now, if CPS think if I go to trial and there's a good chance of me busting case, they will go to my barrister and say to Warren, if he goes guilty for a lesser charge like Section 18, instead of looking at 20 years, right, I can get a lower charge and I put my hands up to it.
Yeah.
But is that justice?
No, it's
not. Or
not.
is that just doing deals under the table?
Yeah, all it is it making their scorecards look good. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there we go. He's held his hands up to something else.
I believe a lot of the public don't realise this, and this is why I like expressing these.
Yeah, exactly. No, like when you're in court, it's a completely different fucking thing. Like obviously, I just went guilty from the offset.
So you didn't have a trial, you just went guilty.
No, obviously because I was caught with 3/4 of a key of coke, there was no way that I was going to be able to say it weren't mine. You know what I mean? So I just went, pleaded guilty, and they gave me 4.5 years.
That's harsh for your first sentence.
Yeah, but for the amount of gear that I had, I had a touch, but it was my very first time ever in a Crown Court. First time ever.
What Crown Court was you at?
Maidstone.
Oh yeah, that's like, for me, that's like a death sentence court. I hate that court. Even the way that it's structured, you know, all the corridors when they bring you up, it's like a maze.
Yeah,
it's a scary place.
Yeah, and you don't know where you're going.
And you know they got them shitty old yellow lights.
Yeah.
That, like, it's a really off-putting colour.
Yeah, it's a depressing room. Yeah.
I always say this, like for me, when I first went to prison when I was 15 for robberies, little street robberies, jacking people for their phones, and me and my co-D, we went to Croydon Crown Court, and we had a trial, and I was on remand. Now, to do a trial at 15 years old,
it's a scary thing.
Oh man, like, cause you're getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning from prison, taken to court where you got to sit in that room all day.
In that poxy little square cell.
Yeah, right. And then you get back at 8 or 9 o'clock. You're eating shitty food.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wouldn't even get a shower. You get to sleep at 11 o'clock. At 15, doing that for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's torture.
Yeah, because you don't know what's going on neither.
No.
It's all a big
Like grab
shot in
me
the
a
dark.
15-year-old now and let him do a trial.
Yeah.
It's
Like you
torture.
grab a 15-year-old now and put them in a police cell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're
If
not
you
made for it these
They
days.
want to hang themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It's
it.
just not going to fucking work.
Right, so talk to me. Because we've got to big up Elmley. Like, we got to talk about Elmley. Like, for me personally, I have a thing, yeah, like, it is just like the worst of the worst. Even to the work you have to do in Elmley, like doing tea packs for £1.50 a day for 8 hours.
Yeah.
So just talk to me some of the memories that highlight in your brain about Elmley.
Yeah, well, I've got to mention this, the first day that we got taken to fucking Elmley, they put us in...
So you're all together?
yeah,
How
we
many?
were all together.
How many?
There was, I think there was 15 of us all together.
I love that.
Yeah, 15 of us.
So
But
you had your own bus, basically.
basically, yeah. But the problem is because the money involved in it was so high, we were all classed as escape men. So when we
they
got
suit
there,
you?
we put us in E-Man suits. Yeah, so
That
I'm
reminds
walking
me of
around in a
Mark Marnie. Big
bright
up
yellow
Mark
and
Marnie.
green fucking jumpsuit thing.
Yeah.
And now everyone's looking out their fucking
Yeah,
windows.
who are
Yeah,
these?
what's going on?
These are
Who are you, where you
serious.
from? And all that, you know.
Yeah.
I've
You're
never
like-
been in a jail
you're like,
before. I'm
first time, mate.
Yeah, I'm looking around thinking, oh my God, what the fuck am I doing here? Got in the cell, doors shut behind, because we got there late.
Yeah, you
So
know.
everyone's banged up.
Yeah.
So we got in our cell,
So
sat
what
down.
sort of time? Just quickly. 10?
Must have been.
Yeah.
Easily. And my mate, who I got nicked with, was next to me, and my pal who I worked for was underneath me
Okay.
in the cell, and he's boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah,
And he's
yeah.
been to jail before.
So
So
he
he
knows
was like,
the deal.
are you alright? I was like, yeah, I'm alright. And he went, put the TV on. Like, film 4's about to start.
Yeah, that's the coup. That's the
Shawshank
coup.
Redemption
Yeah,
was my
oh.
fucking film. What the
How
fuck?
fitting.
Yeah. So like I put it on and I shouted out the window. I was like, "Oi, you see what's on film 4?" He went, "Don't talk to me about film 4." I went, "I'm going to bed." So I just switched it off and done. And then fucking people were at the fucking door in the morning, the little wing rats, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Got any
yeah.
burn? Want to
Ah.
go away? Like
Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like
Just
fuck
got
off.
a
Yeah.
head sentence. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. So then, like, obviously from there on, it was just strange. Like, going to court and doing what I was doing, and like trying to figure out what was what. Like,
Yeah.
without my pal being there,
Yeah, of course.
I would never have known. Like,
Exactly.
he was like, you know, don't have to be hard,
Yeah.
but don't act soft because
Yeah,
people will take
yeah.
the piss.
Mm.
If you're feeling upset, shut yourself in your cell.
Yeah.
Don't cry out on the wing. People see it as a weakness. Like all this, like the rules of jail, like are harder than sometimes the rules of being in a job.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Like you're in a job, like you got to be there at this time. Do that. That's it. But like you can just be yourself. But in jail, you have to.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, you have to keep yourself safe.
Mm.
And it was fucking weird. Like, but then first day out on the wing, I was on house block 2, A spur, and then as I've looked over to C spur,
You see the boys?
I've seen like 9 people from Dartford.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's
what
it's
the
like.
fuck?
I know.
I was like, hey, they were
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
they were
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, Osborne, what the
You're
fuck
like-
are you doing here? And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, tell me about it. You know what I mean? And it was just weird trying to figure out what was what. But then after a little while, like my pal spoke to me, and I just kept myself to myself. I didn't associate in regards to.
Well, big up your pal. I don't want to say no names, but we both know him. So big him up, because it is a big thing in prison.
Yeah.
Like even at 32 yourself, first time in jail, you're around with a lot of younger kids, and they know the system, they know the jails. It's home to them.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to transition, and you do have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And I always talk about, like, I kind of grew up because I went jail at a young age, and a lot of my traits I'm still trying to get rid of now. And I always say, like, for guys who've worked hard to get out of that system, if I was to go back now, within 3 days, all this work I've done in the last 4 years would disappear,
Yeah.
and I'll be the back old warrant
Yeah, exactly.
from prison. So, like, respect for you for dealing with that sentence.
Yeah, it's hard to, and when you come out, it's a kick in the teeth because you think you're just walking out of one door into normality.
Yeah, you're not.
I heard a police car and I hid in a bush. Like, I got all panicky. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know what was happening. But in jail though, it's like you have to find your feet. Like, it's not like being in a 9 to 5 and finding out who you are. Like, you have to know who's who. Like, that person over there is in here for this. So you know not to fuck about with someone like that. Or you let that person know that you don't fuck about with me. But not in an aggressive way. No. You just carry yourself well.
I always say it's the death stare. Like, I'll give a death stare in that kind of situation so they know, like, I'm not a dickhead. Yeah. But if you want to have a fight, it ain't gonna be easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I might lose, but you know you'll have a fight with me.
Yeah.
That is a great way to protect yourself without even communicating.
Yeah.
Just by a look, energy about you.
I had one actual fight in jail, and that was with my baby mum's husband. Came into jail and said that I grassed him up.
I hate all
and
that.
He was in the yard. What? Get away from me, you fucking grass.
He said that to you?
He's on House Block 2 A wing. I'm on C wing now, but the two wings touch each other.
I know.
And I was like,
what, in front of people?
I was like, you fucking what, you cunt. I wait till I see you out in the walkway. I said, then we'll fucking deal with things then.
Yeah.
And my pal was like, you got to fucking deal with that. You can't let people talk to you like that. You can't be called a grass in jail.
Nah.
And I didn't understand this. And I was like, but I'm not. And he went, I know you're not.
Yeah.
No one else in here knows who the fuck you are.
So
and he went, I got paperwork and all that. And I went, sweet, bring it round. And his paperwork, someone read his paperwork and it said, a man rung up and gave your name.
Oh, so he's trying to...
What man?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't say anybody. I said, I'm in here for fucking selling drugs the same as you cunt. Like, as if, why would I grass you? I don't like you.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But one day he came out of his cell when we was on House Block 5. Came out of his cell. I was stood outside his cell by the snooker table. And he came out the cell and he went, get the fuck away from my door. I was like, what are you talking to, you fat cunt? Go on, fuck off. And I didn't realise he had a tin of baked beans in his hands, and he threw it at me and it smacked me, bang, square in the mouth. But sideways on. Ooh. So when it hit my face, the can squashed.
Okay.
So it didn't split me, but it nearly knocked me on my arse.
If it was the fucking...
The round end, it would have busted me open. But where he threw it, and it hit me the long way in the face, the can squashed against my fucking face. And I was wobbling about like as if he'd hit me hard. Yeah. My legs went a bit underneath me, and my mate looked at me as if to say, you got to fucking do something. So I swung at him, but I'm not going to lie, I was half knocked out. I swung... And he ducked and he grabbed hold of me and pushed me against the wall. And then we had a bit of a scuffle. And he gave it the screws didn't even see it.
Oh, didn't they?
No, House Block 5. Like, they knew me and him didn't get on. So if the screws did see it, they must have thought, just let them deal with this. And then it's done. And then, like, they fucked off. Like, he fucked off. And then he walked up to my pal and went, me and you got a fucking problem. And my pal went, don't talk to me like I'm fucking him, you cunt. And he just went, bosh. And my mate kicked the fucking shit out of him. And the bloke went, oh, you got your mate to beat me up? I said, I didn't tell you to go over and give it the fucking mouth. When you went and give it the big one, and you come fucking unstuck.
Yeah, sure.
So that's how it is. And then from that point on, it was sweet. There was no problems after that. And then trying to sell a bit of fucking spice on the wing.
Yeah, it's good money.
Trying to make good fucking money. Like, yet again, inside, I'm in there for drug dealing. I've become a fucking drug dealer. But it's a case of you have to do shit to make a living and stuff in there. And the guy who was looking after the skunk fucking smoked all of it. And came to my door, everyone got opened up for lunch, apart from me. And he came to the door and went, Jay, I'm really sorry, I've smoked all that fucking skunk. And I was like, you wait there, you cunt. Don't you fucking go there. And I'm pressing my bell, banging on my door. And he came in and then fucking, I had to slap him about a little bit, you know what I mean? But then my pal got back, who I was working with, and he got this guy called Herney on the wing, who you just pay him a bit of spice, and he went in the cell and he absolutely beat the shit out of him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the old, what we used to call it, the contractors. So if,
He was called Hitman Herney.
yeah, exactly. I love that because let's just share this with the viewers. So obviously, spice is. I'll go in because I'm a bit of a nerd. So spice is literally herbal tobacco, which has been infused with a fish tranquilizer.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. So you know me, I'm very nerdy. I like to know what I talk about. So basically, what it does when you smoke spice, it affects your neural system, and this is why you get that feel of it makes you feel lean a little bit. But what happens is it really affects your neural system in the sense that that's why they, you know, when they like see, hear things, or they just soak on the floor and they can't
Yeah, they go
move
like
and have
shakes
fits
and shit.
because if the chemical affects fish's brain. This is how they use this stuff. See if they want to catch 6,000 carp, they spray this in the water and it does it to the fish. And they lay on the top of the water and they can just catch all the fish. It's a quicker way of catching fish.
No way.
So what they learn is spray it on tobacco.
Yeah.
And you can buy an ounce. Like back, I'm talking when we was in Rochester, say on G-Ring, I think I was paying about 90 quid for an ounce.
Yeah.
But I'd sell that in £50 shots and I'd make 1,800 quid.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. When like anyone who'd been in Rochester from 2004 to 2018, I want to big up Bieber again. He's the only person who was sick at copping parcels, even if they got caught. We even done the tennis balls. So what we do?
So they just get bounced?
No, but what it was, in Rochester, they put nets up in our exercise yard. Well, Bieber's from Rochester, yeah, and I always say Bieber he's a sick stuntman. He's sick on a motorbike, yeah. So his pals would just lick it up the sides of the prison, get tennis balls and soak them in petrol, light them, throw them over the wall onto the netting, and then this is Beaver's idea. Beaver's like in another life.
Yeah.
He could have been a sick Hollywood stuntman.
Yeah.
He was this sick, yeah. But he would come up with good concepts. But with the spice, it was bad. Like, you would literally have an ambulance coming in, you know, when we was in Rochi.
Oh, yeah.
3, 4, 5 times a day coming in because people have gone over of smoking too much spice. But it was a good money making tool.
Everyone made money from it.
And what people don't realise, I'm not saying everyone, but when people go into prison, they're skint. They got families, yeah. They can't even feed themselves, like toiletries. I know people might think, oh, well, you shouldn't have all this. Well, how do you expect us to wash?
Yeah.
A cup of coffee, a cup of tea, and then our kids need stuff outside. Our missus is now single, so what do you expect?
Yeah, so your mind just goes into overdrive, doesn't it? And you're just doing anything you can.
Anything you can to look after your family. And
did you used to do the 1 for 2 on your every Black Eye Friday?
Yeah. Black Eye Friday, come on. We used to love that canteen day. I used to
canteen
love
day.
Running around with your little ticklish. You got my things.
Or you'd just be standing at the end of the line watching them go. You knew when they didn't have your money because they'd be looking round at you like that. You know what I mean?
But to get to my original point, what I'm saying is guys who have nothing, literally nothing in prison, find themselves being addicted to spice, and through that spice, the only way for them to survive was for guys like me and Jay. We would pay them to collect a debt, and that was their way of surviving. I remember paying spicers to clean my cell, wash my dishes.
Yeah,
I used to look after them, and I even remember, I'm going to bring this up, I used to pay a guy, and I used to go in his cell to talk on the phone because he was up on the twos on our ring, G-Ring, when I was on the server, and I see this picture. You remember that girl, Sarah Payne?
Yeah.
That was his niece. Listen to this.
Oh.
That was his niece, and because of the death, he ended up being a crackhead, and that's why he was in prison. So I used to just look after him.
Yeah.
He didn't want for nothing. Like, I used to bring him in on the cooking, everything.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm a bit like that. Even though I was a bad boy, I still have a heart. Do you know what I mean? So
sometimes, you see prison food? Like,
it's disgusting, bro.
No, listen, I had a mackerel curry cooked for me in a kettle.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, my curries were notorious. Even the screws used to come up to me and say, "What are you cooking today?" I said, "Fuck off." Go Curry House.
On House Block 5 in Elmley.
Yes.
Because they was allowed to, like, some of the guys were allowed to use the kitchens. Like some of the travelling men in there used to make like corned beef hash in big pot. Like everyone just used to chip in.
I always say this: the reason I can cook so well, I learnt off Jamaicans.
Yeah,
like, I can sit like I was taught in prison, and I still, even now, I'm so regiment. Like I still might say, "Oh fuck it, let's get a mackerel curry out."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But they're nice.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
If you was outside and someone went to you, "Do you want a mackerel curry?" You tell them to fuck off. What? Yeah. No, I'm all right.
But if a jailboy goes, "Do you want to come around for a curry?"
You're like, "Yeah, I'm all over it.
I'm all over it. All right. Listen. All right. So now, what I want you to touch on is the hemorrhage.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. Then I want to go into sell your business, your narrative, your personnel, and I'm just going to let you run with it, all right? And I'm going to film extra shots, but can you just unlock your phone for me?
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, this is going so... Oh yeah, and we're on 35 minutes, so you literally got 15 minutes to do what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, I've just turned the battery saver off, so then that way it won't keep switching itself off, you know what I mean?
Alright, so you're going to talk about prison's done, crime's done, new life's done, your new missus, talk all about that, your business, and what you inspire to do in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Because of your life, alright?
Yeah, cool.
Go.
Right, yeah, obviously after all of the prison shit and the fucking hectic and crazy lifestyle, I got to a stage where it was just like, stuff was just, like everything around me was just falling apart, and it was like I was still on the gear, like I was always getting out my nut, and like I had a little bed sit that fucking looked like a fucking crack den, even though I was only on the packets, like it was always dirty washing and shit like that. And then one day I took my daughter to the train station, and I was in a van. I drove this van, I took my daughter to the train station, I got back home, and when I got home, when I got back home, I went into my flat, and then all of a sudden, all I remembered is that all of a sudden, the room just went weird, and that's it. Then I woke up, and I was in a hospital.
Shit.
And I was like, but I didn't know what had happened. No, nothing. Like I was like, I don't know what's going on. Why am I here? But the woman asked me what day it was. Didn't know.
Fuck.
Do you know what your name is? I was like, yeah, my name's Jay. She went, when's your date of birth? I had no idea. And I was thinking, like, and that was, I'm
Scary,
panicking, but I didn't know why I didn't know anything. And she went, right, I'm going to explain to you now. She went, you're in hospital. You've had a major stroke. And I was like, what? And she like, and then I went to move, and I realised I couldn't move the right side of my body.
So it's affected.
It was the left side of your brain, has affected the right side of my body. So like, but my arm was cramped, so like this, but couldn't move it. And I'm a big bloke, you know what I mean? And then she went, like, we're not going to try and make you walk or anything at the moment, but you have to learn. Because I couldn't talk properly, I was lisping and slurring, and this side of my face was dropped slightly. So it just really freaked me out. I couldn't figure out what was what, and 8 weeks I was in the hospital for, and I had to learn to walk again. I had to add physio to try and move my arm and move my wrist. And
so you're basically learning again.
You're starting from the beginning, like. However fucking old I was, that? It was like 8 years ago. I was 38, say 37, something like that. And they were like, someone of your age shouldn't be having a fucking stroke. And they spoke to me, and then they spoke to like people who like were with me, took me to the hospital, and they were like, the reason he's probably had the stroke is that he's basically his exact words were, he's a raving gearhead. Like he doesn't stop sniffing. Like he wakes up.
People don't realise the effects.
Like people think I'll just have a couple of lines and everything will be all right, but it doesn't work like that. Like I was at stages in my life where I could only activate if I was sniffing a packet. So I had to wake up and sniff a line in order to be able to work, and then it'd get to the stages in the evening where I'd run out of gear and I'd be scratching around the room trying to find it. But then I had that stroke, got myself like fixed, partially over that 8 weeks. I went back to the flat I was living in, got myself straight, and everything was all right. And then I ended up getting back onto the gear again. And it's because with cocaine, it's a mental addiction. It's not a physical addiction like what heroin is. And
Yes.
So it's your head that's fucked. It's your brain that can't switch off from it because you're chasing that buzz. But it's never the same. You know what I mean? So it then got further and further down the line. Then I had a TIA, which is like you think you've had a stroke, but you haven't. It's your body telling you that you need to slow down. So it does the same stuff, but it's not actually a stroke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then a little while down the line after that, all of a sudden, I felt weird, and I was with my new girlfriend by then, Kelly, love her to pieces, and obviously I weren't on the gear. I was clean. I weren't touching nothing, and I was at work, and I felt a bit strange, and I ended up back in hospital, and I had a stroke on the right side of my brain, but the left side of my body was fine. There was nothing wrong. They gave me this injection thing. They said, look, there's a 1% chance that this injection can kill you, but they said 99% chance it's not going to happen. And like laughing with the doctor, I was like, I'll probably be that fucking 1%. You know what I mean? It'd be my luck. But it weren't. I had that. It was all right. And then after that, I had another TIA. But I weren't taking my tablets properly. So it was just my body telling me, sort your fucking self out. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now I'm like coming up to 6 years clean. You know, I don't smoke no more. Good. I don't sniff. The thought of even getting involved with any sort of drug now makes me feel sick.
Good.
I have a couple of beers once in a blue moon, and that's about it. So like now just progression is now key for myself. That is it. That's all that I try to do. Like I try and find ways to like better myself physically. Like I go to the gym. I haven't been for a while because the gym that I'm at, when I finish work, I get there at like 7:30 at night, and it's got all the little dickheads in there that all stand around one machine and don't do nothing.
That's why I don't really touch gyms.
I try to train at home, but when you get home at that time of night, you don't want to train. So I'm just trying to get my routine back into shape. That's the thing that works for me. If I have a routine.
It's all of us, bro.
Yeah.
Why do you think I get up at 5 a.m. every morning?
Exactly.
Routine is the only way I can be the person I am now.
Yeah.
And it's took me a long way, but I will give credit due. A lot of my systems and habits come from prison. And I live quite a solitary life now, but I enjoy the life I have now.
Yeah.
And credit to you, Joe. Do you know what I mean? I've known you since I was a kid. I never ever thought I would see you in jail. So when I see you in jail, then I realise who you was rolling with, and I was like, bro, where's this quiet motherfucker started doing shit like that? He's earning more money than me. But it's a credit to you, Jay. It is a real credit to Jay, and I love the fact that you've turned it around. We've reconnected, and you want to do exactly what I want to do. So, because for me, prison reform, personal development is something that should be the forefront in education. But they need guys like us because we might not have teaching degrees, but we've got years and years of experience.
Yeah.
So now I want you to tell me about Mogu.
Mogu UK
25.
That's it.
What's happening with this?
Right. It's going to be my own brand. It's not just an e-commerce like what everyone see this t-shirt. Oh yeah, he's making t-shirts, going to make money. It's not about that. It's all about people finding themselves and rebuilding themselves. And anyone can do it. It's like we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like we've both been at the sore side of the fucking line, you know what I mean? And we're now doing what we're doing now. But obviously my brand is it's for people to get involved with. Like it's not like all of these influencers that have fucking had all their surgeries and shit to make their bodies look amazing. Like this is the most authentic brand you're ever gonna find. Like when people test my items, if they're shit, I'm not going to tell you that the item was shit. I'm just going to show you all the good stuff. No, if I've made something and it ain't no good, I want people to know, look, guys, I've made this. It's wrong. It doesn't matter. Because you just take a step back, you rebuild it, and you move fucking forward. And that's the whole thing.
About life.
That life, and people don't understand that. Like you get into a panic, and that's what Mogu UK is for. You stop, you fix it, you start again. That happens 1,000 times.
I always say, without all my failures and lessons, I wouldn't be the person who I am.
No.
And it's for everyone. And what I just hate the fact that young kids now, they are so
cushioned,
put down, and cushioned, and you can say it's the schools or the parents, society, but education's key. You teach kids that they can do anything in their life by using research, habits, consistency. We can do anything we want. Even
exactly
us sitting here now, because it was only 10 years ago we were sitting in Rochester being little cunts.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And people like see jail as a don't get me wrong, jail's a bad place to be, but it opens people's eyes to what the fuck was I doing there? You know what I mean? But if you don't, me personally, if you don't live life, you're not going to go anywhere.
No,
like
you're going to be stuck in the same circles.
Like my partner's kids, sort of like, they've had some bad things that have happened in their life. But I was brought up in a house where if you're doing something wrong, you'll get told to fuck off. You know what I mean? And I roll that way with them, and my missus goes, "You can't talk to them like that." And I'm like, "Why not? I was spoken to like that."
And I bet they respect you for it.
Well, they talk to me about stuff now. Like I can be a bit. It's not abrupt, but I'm just firm. You know what I mean? It's just I'm just firm. Like I was told that this is how you do things. So if you can do it the way that I've done it and it works, so don't sugarcoat it. If it ain't working, don't do it. And they're all doing well. They've got both got their little problems, their little hiccups, but they're progressing well in life now, and they're doing really well. But that's the main reason what my company is going to be for. It's for everyone to do that, from the ages of 16 up to 60. Like there's like people younger than that if they're interested, because some young kids, they want to get involved in getting better because they've had it hard at young age. Like I had a touch. I had a good upbringing. Like I had mum, I had dad, I had a nice house, I had 3 fucking holidays a year, and my life went south when I was 21 when my dad died. And then 31 when my mum died. My mum was my best friend. So obviously that knocked me sideways, and that's when my life went shit. That doesn't happen with everyone. Some people live a happy life, and fair play, respect, and you know, I'm happy that some people get that sort of feeling in their life. But me personally, if you don't have a hiccup in your life, when a hiccup happens, you're fucked, because you don't understand how to deal with it.
I think what it is how society changes, and everything's very easily now. Whereas our era, and even I think our elders would say it was harder for them than it was for us.
Yeah, it is.
So I think, comfort's a killer, as they say.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Born in the 80s, lived in the 90s. You know what I mean? It was the best fucking way to be.
Different breed.
But breed. like I'd say now, like when they say at school, like, I know it's silly because it's a children's school. Oh, he got a star for sitting well. Why? You should fucking sit still anyway. You know what I mean? There's a star for sitting, like, because when they get home, they're not. You ain't getting gold stars in my house, so you don't act like that. Everything is just wrapped up too much, and that's why we're doing what we're doing, so people can understand.
I'm a big thing on, like, you got to think, like, humans are changing regardless. If you look at brains and neurodiversity, my big problem is with schools, they haven't changed.
No,
they're still doing the same mistakes. But I'm gonna save the neurodiversity podcast for another time and say, listen, Jay, it's been a pleasure. And I've really enjoyed hearing your story, and I'm sure we'll do it again.
100%.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.